Good morning. Before I talk about museum activities based on what we have been doing, I'd like to share with you a story. And I think this is a story that I like very much, and the one that I hope will link the tangible and intangible sides of heritage with examples. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this kind of trays or baskets, right? In Thai, it's generally referred to as gradong fat khao. But I'm sure you have them, right? Which one? The one? This one? Yellow one. Okay. This one is from Thailand. The rest are from other parts of the world. Well, I think some of you who are from museums, you probably see this kind of thing in museum collections, right? It's kind of generally the baskets, part of basketry, showing all kinds of baskets and weaving tools. Now, what are these trays? If we think of them as objects, they're kind of handicraft artifacts displayed in the museum. A winnowing tray can be appreciated by its shape, its intricate weaving patterns. Some of them are really beautiful, or basketry techniques. Some may call it example of folk art, right? But very recently, I've come to realize, it's kind of, I've read about how these baskets or these trays are used in farming activities. But it's only recently that I've come to realize that a tray like this only comes to life when it is part of everyday life activities, when it is used or handled by people who have skills in doing all these activities. This type of knowledge is not taught in school. I don't think any school in Thailand or Indonesia teach children to separate rice or winnow or separate grains and so on. It's the kind of thing that is transmitted in a family, in community, social group. Sometimes it's called practical knowledge because it's through practice that you learn about doing it. You learn to be skillful through practice. You don't learn by reading books. You don't learn by thinking about it. You learn by doing it, actually doing it. It's embodied. Sometimes it's called embodied knowledge because it has to be implemented through your body. A few months ago, I came across an elderly woman, Mrs. Kum, Yai Kum, or Grandma Kum. She lives in a community west of Bangkok, and she spends most of her life growing rice. And until very recently, she planted the seedlings, harvested, threshed, husked, winnowed rice by hand using very simple technology. She's very skilled and describes several ways of using the trays that you've seen. For example, I'm going to use this prop which I borrow from the hotel. I don't have a proper tray. I'm not a skillful person, but let's do this exercise. I want you to think about your own language, your mother tongue, and tell me what this movement is called in your own language. Suppose I have rice, a grain of rice with husk in here, and I do this movement. We're winnowing in English, right? What is it in your own language? Padi is rice, right? Okay. What is it in Bhutan? Okay. What is it in Chinese?
I'm not quite sure.
You're not sure? You're not sure? How about what else? Vietnamese? Okay. All right. Now this is easy. And this is easy. Let's say separating the husk from the grains, right? And there are different sizes of grain in your tray. So there is some way of separating large grains from small grains. All right, so this is what you do. Okay, you do this, I mean, quickly, not like that, and then you do it. What is it in your language?
Yeah, we do have that too.
Yes, we do have that too. What is it? What is it in English? Sorting, grading. But that sounds very terrible. Yeah, there must be a technical. You must have it in Indonesia. What about Bhutan?
Kalau ada padi di koordinasi itu ya, tapi kalau kita
What is it?
koordinasi
This is weird, right?
So we translate
Sabah memilih caranya.
Well, according to Mrs. Kum, this is Kathai, I'm confused myself which is which. I think this is Kathai. It's kind of the detailed technical terms of each movement. If you flip it so that the rice move from left to right or like right to left, it's called Kathai. And if you move it so that the grain move from the lower part to the upper part, that is Gratok. So it's finely distinguished. You know, each movement is finely distinguished. And if you're not skilled at doing it, I mean, you lose all the grains, as I have experienced. But why is it that some of you know the technical terms and some of you don't? Why is it?
It's part of my tradition, right?
It's part of your tradition. Why is it not part of Peter Davis's tradition? You have no rice, but you have wheat, you have grains, right?
I'm sure we used to have words like this.
Right.
In the past, I'm sure we would have words for all these actions. Because again, we would have to go through the same process as to extract the grains of wheat from the head of the grain. But they've been lost. We've lost them.
Right. So you've lost your heritage, actually.
We've lost heritage through technology.
Yes, precisely. What I want to show is that because you come from a farming family, right, and you've seen your father and mother doing this, and you learn the word, and I think you can do it yourself, right? You're a gentleman from Laos.
Actually, not really.
You've seen your mom and dad do it.
Because like this, normally like for the women that they can do, but some men they also can do because like they go in the rice field that I mean.
Okay. Well, let's see how Mrs. Kum does it. I hope this works. So this is fat, and then you. Okay, this is Kathai. Okay, so I mean she is so good, you know, with just one flip of her hands, the grains are separated, the big ones and the small one.